speaking of that match, boy, do I have something to talk about right now. It is the game of the week, none other than the Division C West Resurgence of the Storm versus amateur opponents, coming out tomorrow, Wednesday, at 10:30 Eastern Time. And that's going to be an excellent match. Of course, we've talked about both of these teams at some point today. That's going to be, of course, right here on this channel, on the Nexus Gaming Series channel. And I think it's going to be casted by Murda and Slexia. I'm not sure if both of them are doing it. I know last week was Slexia and Pals, so we'll stay tuned for that information. But yeah, why don't you talk a little bit about Resurgence of the Storm, and I'll take a stab at talking about amateur opponents.
Sure. So Resurgence of the Storm, they're a new team in NGS this season. They've had a pretty strong showing so far. They've beaten Team Training Wheels 2-0. They've got a 2-1 victory over Annie Oak League. They've got 2 matches this week. So they beat currently chasing Samuro last night, and now they're sitting at the 6-1 map score, heading into the Game of the Week showdown here. A quick shout out here for one of the players on Resurgence of the Storm, player Perseus. They are a tank player, huge key part of the team, big part of their success so far. He's second in damage taken in Division C at 84,000. He's the first in damage taken per death, so 68,000. The second place is only 46,000, so almost like a third or 2/3 of that value. So
yeah,
pretty huge margin of difference there. He's always in the middle of fights. He's always in those skirmishes. He's staying alive the whole time. He's, staying there, being that front line that his team needs, getting the pocket for his DPS players. He's also second in KDA. He's got 13.3 in C West so far, so definitely a big part of their success in Resurgence of the Storm.
Absolutely. And we would be remiss if we didn't talk about amateur opponents. Of course, we've talked a little bit about them earlier. It's worth noting this team does have 3 members from the top Division D team in Bloodfin Murgles. I forget, and of course, you guys are in chat. You can remind me. I don't know if you guys were top or if you were close to the top. I forget exactly how that went down. But those 3 returning members came up, started amateur opponents, added a couple friends and pals, and of course, as we talked about, they are at the top right now. And it's great to see them doing well so far, especially only taking 3 teammates from that old team. And looking at their schedule, this might be their toughest opponent left on the list. So if they can get the win tonight, they have a chance. They have a chance to hit 30 points on the standings. That's a lot of points. I have a feeling that's a typo, but if you guys get the win today, or tomorrow rather, that's obviously going to give you plenty of points. And with this being your toughest opponent, that's going to be an excellent opportunity, setting you up very well for the playoffs going forward. And she's in the chat, Butte Holiday. She's a consistent healer. She's mentioned today that she likes to play Ana. She can bring her team to a whole nother level, likely one of the reasons why they're at the top. She was a sub for a Division A team several seasons back. I believe that was Gimme the D Shield back in season 7, maybe 6. Now in season 9, being in Division C, she's using those skills that she learned playing with Rexpa and others back in A, and she's near the top of all the different healing stat categories, and one of the reasons why her team is doing so well this season. She has a 68,000 average healing over 13 games with a healing per minute of 3.6k. Her main healer choices are Anduin, Stukov, and of course, as mentioned, Ana. So definitely something to keep an eye for. I'm going to be tuning in. I think it's going to be a great match, especially against 2 hopefully really great opponents, and we'll go from there. So anything else to add on the game of the week, Ryokai?
Well, I think the 30 points, I don't think that's a typo. If I'm correct, a domination in all 12 matches should be 36 points, so it's like technically possible. I want to say like the highest most teams I've ever seen are like at 30, 31, 32-ish range, so 30 points is like, it's barely possible, but you have to be a really dominant team to get up there. So,
well, especially in these bigger divisions, C, D, B, I think is also probably potentially up there too. Getting those 30 points, I guess that's probably not a typo. So we will tune in tomorrow and we'll find out if they're on their road to 30 or less.
Diablo Apox. Leap of Faith again by Anduin Vildanslo, and Medivh's gonna be able to finish him off. 3 kills, a triple for BFM. And now Diablo being surrounded. Fade falling to 25% health. Condemn, and Diablo's down. That might be the actual play of the game. They find another kill.
Apocalypse coming out though. Red team. Oh my god! Red team almost got him.
Axon jumping over to get some kills.
Oh, Ragnarok getting the concussion mine, knocking him out into the fray. Oh, the definition of unlucky.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week number 4, the NGS game of the week. We got a banger for you tonight. It is the Resurgence of the Storm, tongue twister almost, versus amateur opponents. These teams are high flying, scoring all sorts of points in the standings. Currently, amateur opponents, they're the number 1 seed here in Division C West with 15 points entering tonight's match, with a map record of 11-3, doing outstanding. 4 dominations already in the early portion of this Season 9. And Resurgence of the Storm entering with 8 points in the standings. They've only played 3 matches. Do the math. Yeah, 10-2 map record. 6-1 map record. I was looking at second place for a second. 6-1 map record. Outstanding. They've only lost 1 map all season. So 2 Titans colliding tonight. Who will go home champion? And I'm joined tonight by the Green Mist. Unfortunately, Slexia not able to join us this week. Be sure to show her some love. She's usually here, my co-caster for this game of the week. But tonight, it's the ever so silent Green Mist joining me. We have all of our players in the lobby. I gotta let them know I'm ready to go because I know that they're ready. They've been waiting for me. I said I just needed to introduce the stream really quick. So welcome if you're new to the Nexus gaming series and this is your first game of the week. Get ready for some really cool action. I'm excited for this one. I hope you are. I know the Green Mist is. They don't say much, but you just got to believe me on that. And anyway, I think we're about ready to go. But before we do hop in, we have time to briefly talk about what went on in the coin flip. It was amateur opponents winning the toss and opting for first pick in game number 1. So Resurgence of the Storm banned away Towers of Doom and Braxis Holdout. Amateur opponents took away Battlefields of Eternity and Dragonshire. And then here we go for game number 1, as chosen by Resurgence of the Storm. It will be Alterac Pass. I don't get to cast this one as much. I like it. Thank you. I appreciate that. And with those bans, getting rid of Battlefields of Eternity, you know, I've seen a lot of that recently. I'm expecting Volskaya and Infernal Shrines later this evening. At least one of those, right? I'm sure you're expecting it as well. But there's some other maps still available, including Sky Temple. Maybe we see some Sky Temple tonight. But either way, let's get ready for game number 1. Our draft is about to begin, and we're heading into Alterac Pass. Alright, so Resurgence of the Storm picked this map. That means the red side will be banning first and very quickly, wasting no time. Technically it was 3 seconds. Phoenix taken away. Our captains tonight, Butte Holiday on the side of amateur opponents. And for Resurgence of the Storm, it'll be C2D2. I think maybe a reference to my good friend R2D2. Hello? You there? You know who is here with me tonight. It's Baby Yoda. Say hello to Baby Yoda, everyone. Oh! Pick good heroes! You don't talk, do you? I don't think he usually talks. I made a voice up for him. First ban for Resurgence of the Storm is Sylvanas. Definitely a powerful hero. Here on Alterac Pass, those black arrows are effective because she can be in any lane during the objective push, right? You have to keep your eyes on where she's going. If she gets to get in a solo lane by herself, push in with those cavalry, shut down the towers with the black arrows, you don't want to have to deal with that. So taken away first by Resurgence of the Storm, and now we see Johanna banned out by the amateur opponents. And that will be 2 different heroes banned by them, and just the one so far for Resurgence of the Storm. But I'm expecting maybe a tank here. Do they take out something like the Garrosh, or maybe the Ana, who's been so powerful, especially in some of these higher level games that we've seen? Here's another good one. GREYMANE taken out. We've definitely seen a lot of him, especially as a response to the Deathwing. So now seeing the GREYMANE gone, does Deathwing step up the leaderboard here in terms of draft priority? Li-Ming first selection for amateur opponents as they continue to not waste a lot of time in these drafts. But yeah, I think right here on this pick, is it going to be Deathwing, or does Resurgence of the Storm let it slide through, maybe take something of their own to not have to deal with it? Here's the Zeratul selected and Lucio. So of course Zeratul, one of those heroes that can interact with Deathwing with that Void Prison. Might be their response just in case the Deathwing does get selected here. And with the Lucio selection for Kenster, they grab themselves a fine support. One who can get in and out of fights. I've seen in multiple games this season Lucio leading the team in kills because this skater can catch anyone on the map. If you're running away with low health, you better be careful. Butte Holiday gonna hop on the Anduin and Duck Rogers ETC as we head into our mid-draft ban phase. Support and tank already chosen on the side of amateur opponents. You gotta believe probably take away a strong auto attacker. Something like a RAYNOR here maybe would make sense for them. They have 3 seconds to make this pick. Could be an offlaner too. And it will be an offlaner. They ban out the Leoric. Final ban now. It belongs to amateur opponents. Still no tank on the opposite side. So do they worry about what might affect them most? Maybe you see them take away something like a Garrosh. I'm not like super sold on it. So maybe take away something that helps this Zeratul out. They'd just go ahead and take away the RAYNOR themselves. I wouldn't have expected that one. However, a strong hero. And always worth banning, I think. There's a Nubrak. That'll help deal with the Li-Ming a bit. Gonna get some spell armor in the base kit. And access to a few stuns, a few interrupts for ETC and that potential mosh pit from Duck Rogers. Now they're going to have one more pick. They grab their solo lane. For Pig Merlin, it will be Thrall. Final 2 amateur opponents on the clock. They still need that auto attacker. They still need their offlaner. With the Leoric gone, do they switch over to something like the Blaze? Getting access to that bunker might help during these engagements from Thrall, whether it be with that Sunder or the Earthquake. The bunker can be such a disruptor if Blaze does get chosen. But no, we're not going to see the Blaze. It's going to be Rexar for Saint Terminator, and Cactus Ham going to hop on the Vala. One pick is all that remains. And yet, they still need some sustained damage. Thrall's not going to be able to do it himself. Zeratul, of course, more of like a burst melee assassin, if anything. What will Wingman select here? It's going to be Tassadar, so they're not going to have that auto attacker. They're going to have a mage and a high-flying, high-damage melee assassin. A bit different than we normally see, but how will this work with the Void Prison? Perhaps we end up seeing that black hole from Tassadar. I just got to write this last pick in my book. And I'm going to turn to chat now. See what you guys are thinking. How have you guys been doing tonight? Who do you think is going to win this game number 1? Do either of these drafts stick out as the better end for you? Let's open up a poll. I'm going to ask you, who will win game 1? Will it be Resurgence of the Storm, or will it be amateur opponents? And just like that, our poll is open. Head on over to chat up at the top, select the team you want to win, and be sure to hit submit so your vote is counted. I got the results up in front of me. Hopefully you're paying attention at home and keeping track of who's winning, because of course, if you pick the team that wins, then you are the smartest person here tonight, because I have no clue heading into this draft. I do like the ETC. I think he's one of the best tanks right now. But we got to find out what happens. Here we go. Alterac Pass, game number 1.
Ready to have a little fun?
Let's start off the night by introducing our team here on the left-hand side. In blue, it'll be Pig Merlin playing the Thrall. And over here at mid, we see Wingman on the Tassadar, C2, D2 on the Zeratul. And actually up in the top lane will be Perseus on the Anubrak and Kenster on the Lucio. Ladies and gentlemen, they are known as Resurgence of the Storm. And here on the red side, they're in first place in Division C West. It's Cactus Ham on the Li Ming, Saint Terminator playing Rexar and Misha, Sonic's Bro on, who this hero? Vala. Is that the Vala? I guess that's the Vala. Yes, it is. That's a crazy skin. We got Butte Holiday on the Anduin. And last but not least, playing the ETC, wherever he is. Where did ETC go? There he is. Duck Rogers. Hey, buddy. Nice pony. It's a golden pony. Good attack there to start off the game from Sylvanas. They get a little bit of damage out onto the wall and take out one of the towers. Early sieging by Resurgence of the Storm. Just a few moments left to vote in our pregame poll. Currently ahead, it is amateur opponents. 63% of your vote, but you still have a few seconds left to make your decision. Of course, by the time you hear me say this, the poll will probably be closed. But either way, thanks for participating and humoring me with being, I guess, my co-caster
What do you
tonight.
say? Ready to have a little fun?
Few follows coming in as well. 777 Razor, Dr. Evil 1212, and Discerning 2567. Thanks for being here and thanks for checking out Nexus Gaming Series. This is the game of the week. A match picked by our analysts here for Nexus Gaming Series. They try to find the biggest and best match of the week. And with this being between the #1 seed and the #3 seed in Division C West, you can't blame them for picking this. Both sides picking up their siege camps. A little bit ahead, though, are going to be the amateur opponents. You see their gnolls approaching their wall right now as they're clearing out some minions right in front of it. But a good response here at mid from Wingman, Kenster, and Perseus to help clear out these gnolls as theirs are going to join into the fight. There's our first force wall of the game from Tassadar. Not going to do too much as ETC was kind of on the side of it. Wingman going to get chunked down to about, I would call it 40% health. Just fine, though. Got Lucio nearby, and whenever that boy's skating, you are always feeling healthy. Good route there. The Chastise coming in after the power slide. Good combo, but not quite enough damage yet as it's just the Vala here in mid. Li Ming currently playing the solo lane. Here's Cactus Ham up against Pig Merlin. It is Li Ming versus Thrall. For one of our solo lane matchups. I would not have expected this, but with just the Rexar picked up, they don't necessarily have a secondary option to run one of these solo lanes. Whereas a hero like Zeratul, he can actually do this by himself. He already goes into the Greater Cleave at level 1, and now at level 4, the Rending Cleave as well. It's pretty much enough to get through the wave clear on its own. You see just one of those swipes doing about 50% health onto these minions as they're walking down the lanes. But will Li Ming be able to keep up with that as the game goes on? Cactus Ham's going to have a lot to prove here in game #1 as our first prisons are on the map. It's going to be bottom side, a little bit easier maybe for amateur opponents to grab this with it being on the middle portion of the screen, whereas Resurgence of the Storm going to have to fight into this choke point and really only have one angle to try to channel it at. Another siege camp just grabbed by amateur opponents. It's going to be heading down this mid lane again, which is definitely your priority lane when you're playing this map. You want to make sure you're always getting out those camps on cooldown, just as we're seeing both of these teams doing. Here's Resurgence of the Storm still working on theirs, but sending a lot of resources over to get it done, knowing the priority these camps hold. But now they have to wait till they get level 7. There it is. Should be ready to take a fight at any moment. Bottom lane, it's Perseus on this Anubrak, getting a bit of speed boost right here at level 4. Shed Exoskeleton selected for the Hardened Carapace. Going to give Anubrak that movement speed boost. And paired it with something like the Lucio, it's going to mean Anubrak's going to be all over this map, all in these fights, all out of these fights. Going for that full W build. It's even the chitinous plating. That was called a shitness. Chitinous plating at level 7 as Misha going to take a nice little bit of damage there. They got to back on out and work on clearing out this mid lane as the prison has been recaptured by Resurgence of the Storm. 17 seconds already off their clock. Now just 13 more seconds needed for the amateur opponents to lock in their first cavalry of the night. Looking back at our poll as it has been completed now, amateur opponents walking away with 63% of your vote. Thank you for participating in the poll, and for those 63% of you, we'll see if you're correct, as Butte Holiday able to channel off that prison yet again. Just 10 seconds needed, and a strong defense being mounted here as Misha's gonna hold that bush, not letting anything through. 1 second left, and that's all they need. There it goes. First cavalry of the game will belong to the amateur opponents. Checking out bottom lane as now Zeratul could be in trouble. Does he have a blink to get out of this? C2D2 trying to maneuver around as the hungering arrow from Vala actually ended up missing. Zeratul's going to be safe. Back to the well. Uses the tap, and now joining up with the team. No, going to rotate up to mid as 3 heroes rotate down to the bottom lane to deal with this 3-man push from AO. There's another force wall. This one is going to lock in the ETC, but under no harm. Cavalry now approaching the wall as the damage going to start to mount from Sonics Bro 33's Vala. See if we can get these auto attacks out and destroy one of these towers while they have the cavalry here. One of them down, 2 of them down. Actually, no, excuse me, only 1 of them down. I thought this top one had already fallen, but it just hadn't taken any damage yet. ETC under pressure now, auto attacking onto some heroes. Going to take shots from those towers. Duck Rogers very low, 200 health. Gets a heal from Butte and will survive. Still no first blood as we are rounding the heroic talent corner. And first to that mark will be Resurgence of the Storm. We will not see the black hole. It is Archon grabbed by Tassadar, Sundering for the Thrall, and everything else pretty standard, but we do want to make note Void Prison was selected by Zeratul. As we now take a peek at the other side, it will be Light Bomb, Unleash the Boars, Rain of Vengeance, Force Wave, and ETC. Oh boy, is this gonna be stage dive? Excuse me. Too busy talking about ETC's heroic talent. Missed a kill. That's our first blood. And Resurgence of the Storm is on the board. Take out the Rexar, the true solo lane hero here for amateur opponents. Wouldn't have expected him to be the first to fall, but he does. Well done by Resurgence, as they're taking now a 1-level lead through the mid portion of this game, working on clearing out another null camp at mid. Both sides staying diligent on grabbing those on cooldown. Here comes a Nubrak, able to walk up very quickly on top of Duck Rogers, but the minion wave not quite there, so the rest of the team not pushing in with it as of yet. Finally, though, it is here. Tassadar going to throw down the force wall and try to get that tower down. They do. Now a little bit of damage as well onto the fountain. Will that fall? Oh, the fountain is down. The Knolls are too strong. Armor reduction. Heck yeah. Hello in chat. Mission 35 saying hi. If it's your first time here, welcome. If it's your second or third time here, well, welcome anyway. Erder Sturderner. Let's go AO. Okay. And cool Twitch name. I like that. Prisons number 2 will be located in about 5 seconds. It'll be on the top side of the map this time. And this time a little bit easier for Resurgence of the Storm. Who's going to make the move first? Maybe waiting for level 13 right now. Percy is trying to soak up some XP at mid. Pig Merlin still sitting up top working on this Misha and Rexar. And another null camp being started up on both sides. Already picked up by AO, but here it comes from Resurgence of the Storm. And once again, just a few seconds behind their opponents, but they get it out on time, and it will be pushing during this objective. Still no one walking into the pit to try to gather that prison. I would have guessed with level 13s that would have been their first move. Try to get up there, try to get your channel off early while you had that advantage, but now likely won't have an advantage as ETC able to power slide right through the force wall. Look at this. I didn't even notice the selection earlier, but at level 4, Crowd Surfer selected by ETC. Maybe a nice utility pick here up against the Tassadar. Happen to use that power slide again as Lucio's going to chase in. Duck Rogers low. There's the VP. Will be canceled out, and they get the kill. Second one of the game for Resurgence of the Storm, and they're also going to find themselves their first fort of the game. Lucio able to tank a ton of that damage and skate the team away. Bottom lane, though, we missed it. It's a boss pickup for amateur opponents as they knew their enemies were at mid lane pushing in with that null camp. They work their way down to the bottom side of the map, find the boss wide open, end up getting through a wall and maybe a significant portion of this fort. But maybe the bigger deal is now they know exactly where their opponents are. They've had enough time to reach level 13, and they're getting themselves right on the prison. There goes Cactus Sam channeling it away, and they will start it up. 40 seconds needed for this second objective, whereas the first one, just the 30 seconds needed. Will Resurgence of the Storm be able to stop this one again? Here they come. Power slide on 2. It is the stage dive selection from ETC, and there it comes. Only hits onto the Tassadar, but he's got a nice shield right now. Very low is Lucio, who will end up falling. Light Bomb helping keep everyone else back is now Misha on the front line. At about 25% health, gonna need to be careful. Gonna need some healing from this. Anduin does get some, as Butte Holiday playing pretty aggressive here, looking to send the team in for some more kills. But they don't find another reset for Li Ming as of yet. A new brag so low. But Perseus able to walk away. Cactus Ham going to start that channel yet again. 15 seconds needed to get their second objective of the game. And everyone has left the arena. Here's Zeratul down in the bottom lane. And there goes Tassadar and Thrall onto the siege camp. It'll be the second straight cavalry for amateur opponents as they look to continue their sieging ways. Yet to get down any of these forts yet, but top lane, look at this, a big fat minion wave already on the fort, and here comes Li Ming and ETC to help it out. Anduin not too far behind, gonna escort this minion wave forward as Butte Holiday gonna take a drink from the fountain and help out this squad, finish off this fort. It's down to about 20% health as another minion wave about to approach. Thrall here in defense. And is that enough? Duck Rogers gonna walk in, couple axe slams. And there it goes. Cavalry now showing up and will be pressuring the top lane keep wall. Bottom lane is being cleared out by Zeratul. This might actually be able to get the fort. It's going to be close. Let's look at top lane where they're sending 3 heroes and everyone from AO backed out. Bottom lane fort getting very close to falling, but actually, yeah, they are going to be able to save it. Well done by C2D2, keeping that one up for now. No catapults spawning either direction in the bottom lane. But they will be spawning top lane for amateur opponents and mid lane for Resurgence of the Storm. Here comes C2D2, a 4-man Void Prison. What's the follow-up that's going to happen? There's the Force Wall. Big Sunder. Going to knock up a few heroes as Duck Rogers on the front side gets a Light Bomb, but does absolutely nothing. It's a double kill as Vala falls as well. Anduin inside the cocoon. Misha trying to save him, but Butte Holiday running towards the opposite team side of the map. Can't make it away. It's a triple kill, and now 5 in the game for Resurgence of the Storm. And look at where they're headed, skating up to the top lane with Lucio. They want the top lane boss. There goes C2D2 starting it up. Not much of a response really able to happen at all here from amateur opponents. Just going to be Li Ming soaking up the XP in the bottom lane. Maybe going to walk forward and finish off this fort. Yes, she will, having access now at level 16 to Mirror Ball. Cactus Ham doing a considerable bit of more damage onto structures here in the late portion of the game. 13 stacks on Puncturing Arrow currently for Vala, as a top lane fort will fall to that boss. We'll watch the defense now, as there are 4 heroes here along with a bear from the amateur opponents trying to save their top lane keep wall. Prison's located in 10 seconds, and look at where Resurgence of the Storm is already in this bottom lane, now pinging onto the enemy fort. They want to get some structural damage in. There goes Zeratul, going to take a bunch of that armor reduction from the shots from the fort, but now getting some help from a few of those beetles. Oh, that's as good as having Sylvanas, baby. And yeah, I called it Sylvanas in the early portion of the game because I remembered a Sylvanas in the draft, but it was a ban on Sylvanas. It was actually a Nubarak. But speaking of a Nubarak, bye-bye. Not enough beetles anywhere to save the big beetle from that. Wingman now very slow, getting stunned out by Misha. Another follow-up with that power slide from Duck Rogers. But not nearly enough damage. Just the 2 kills in the game so far from the #1 seed here in Division C West. They've been doing well all season, but off to maybe a slower start here in game number 1 of the game of the week. 1 kill for Anduin, 1 kill for Rexar, as Zeratul gonna walk back in, big cleave onto 3 heroes. And has access right now to the Void Prison as Wingman trying to interrupt the channel, not quite able to. ETC gonna stage dive in, a little bit off target, but enough to scare back the rest of the team. 18 seconds are all that's needed. They've won the first 2 objectives, trying to make it 3 in a row. And with level 20 so close, not gonna be close enough though. They're gonna have to take this fight before having their Storm Talonteer. Or, you know, just give up the objective. That works too. Jason in chat saying no disintegrate into Cocoon. Yeah, good point. It really gives the Nubrak the edge in the matchup now. The Beetles are going to block a lot of orbs. And Li Ming doesn't get that, you know, dual-edged sword of, hey, you might be blocking my orbs, but I'm going to be disintegrating your Cocoon. So, who actually wins the matchup? Some might say it's a fair trade. But without that disintegrate, yeah, I think Anubrak goes away the better hero out of the 2 in this matchup. Mid fort does fall. Top lane still unattended. It's going to be pushing in up against the minion wave, but might eventually reach that wall. And here in the bottom lane, 5 heroes from the amateur opponents willing to knock on this bottom lane keeps door. From the flank side, here comes a Nubrak, and Zeratul still in stealth mode, gonna be looking for a VP. There's the light bomb. Absolutely nothing going there as C2D2 is able to flash in, flash out. Now the big charge onto 2 heroes from Misha. There's an early barrier, not gonna negate too much damage as amateur opponents already backing up out of the fight. They're not willing to fight underneath these structures. They're willing to let their objectives do the fighting for them. And speaking of it, look at this top lane push. Colossal push. And they might end up getting this keep. I think they do. They do. Oh boy. There were heroes clearing this out, weren't there? They forgot about it. Now Li Ming available to throw out some free damage onto this mid-keep wall. They're going to start walking away without their level 20 talents. Need to be careful. Here comes Zeratul. Gets the cleave onto 2, but only the VP onto 1. Misha tries walking in as Duck Rogers in trouble. Great pull from Anduin. That leap of faith on the money. Now it's just Misha low as they get their first reset. Zeratul's down. Cocoon a little bit late as the resets for Li Ming might pick up a second kill or not. Thrall with so much sustain along with the Lucio. Able to survive. And now Vala trapped behind the force wall. Another leap of faith from Puke Holiday. Right here at level 20. Glyph of Faith. Selected in the nick of time by the captain from amateur opponents. Very well done. Saving a life, maybe saving themselves a keep, as now it's just a 4v4 on the map. Could have been 4v3. They're going to grab siege camps on both sides of the map and head on into our next set of prisons. Once again, we'll be on the top side of the map. Both of our bosses have respawned, but neither team thinking about it yet. Or are they? Or are they? They're sneaking down there. And Thrall might be sneaking up there. This could be bosses in both directions. But no, Resurgence of the Storm going to give it up. I think Anubrak's going to try to chase down here to this boss. Let's look at the progress. Already at 50%. Gonna be too late to the party. Second boss of the game for the amateur opponents. Power Slide going to miss there from Duck Rogers, but they're not really concerned about it. They just want to get up to these prisons and work on their 4th straight objective. Li Ming now back on the map. Both teams at full strength with all of their heroic abilities ready to go. Who's going to hold the aggro? Looks like ETC will be able to. There goes the channel from Anduin. And once again, they get the first jump on the objective. Bottom lane, let's look at the clear. Boss still at 50% health. And they might be thinking about leaving it now. There they go. This thing's still healthy. 40% health. Is that enough to get through a keep? It might be. I'm not so sure, but it's going to get some damage out. It's not going to kill the keep, but it's going to get it down to 50% at least. 25%, 25 seconds all that's left on this channel. Make it 20. as they're finally being pressured off. Zeratul looking to get in there, finds the Void Prison on 2. This time it's Rexar and the Leeming. Cactus Am able to teleport out as Feigned Death comes out from the Rexar. Perseus in trouble, but the Force Wall might be saving the day along with that Cocoon. Oh no, the Beetle is down. They traded out for Vala as Tassadar, look at this, in that Archon form, doing a considerable amount. And still chasing in. ETC gonna try to slow it down, but the infinite Archon, so scary. Zeratul not able to pick up the kill though. And I think, yeah, Tassadar? Yeah, okay, it did expire now. There is a boss in the top lane. Neither side looking at it yet, but I thought maybe the amateur opponents might have been getting frisky. Gonna be 28 seconds for both of these heroes to respawn, but currently 4v4 on the map. Although there's no tank for Resurgence of the Storm, they can't take engages, so they back on out and appear to be giving up their 4th straight objective to the amateur opponents. Have they gotten 1 second of channel time the entire game? I don't know. I don't think they have. Jason in chat now saying, I feel like this is a preview of the Div C West Finals. That's a statement. It could be true. I mean, as I mentioned, this is the number 1 seed versus the number 3 seed currently. And with Resurgence of the Storm winning on kills and amateur opponents winning on objectives, it's a fairly even match. Here comes Zeratul trying to find it again. Force Wall in a good spot as the barrier comes out early. A Leap of Faith gonna try to save the Rexar. There's Feigned Death as the Cocoon's dropped on Anduin. Stage Dive will hit multiple targets, but it's gonna be the Rexar falling first. Light Bomb again, a little bit off target as Duck Rogers now in a lot of trouble. And ETC will end up falling, following the action now down on the bottom. Thrall able to escape as Leeming might not be so lucky. Oh, okay. Will be that lucky. Cactus Ham gonna survive, but it's a 2 for 0 in favor of Resurgence of the Storm. Top lane gonna be under pressure, but should be able to be cleared out by Thrall if he wants to rotate there. Bottom lane, Keep just went down with the help of this 4th Cavalry. And mid lane, it's gonna end up being the only Keep still standing on the side of Resurgence of the Storm. Can they save their core? It's getting kind of spooky. 30%. Only 9,000 health, but they finally do get the job done. That will be regenerating. As it's just 12 seconds till Rexar's back. It's going to be a bit longer for ETC, but the moment he's up, we'll have access into that stage dive. I didn't see the death metal go off in that fight. I guess because he was just so far away from the rest of the team, he died on like the top side and didn't exactly get value. Oh, Zeratul flashing over the wall. Will they get the kill? Oh, they will, and they're going to make it 2. Great Force Wall from Tassadar again. As the stage dive does come out, it's 3 heroes down. They were the 3 left on the map. Misha's gonna fall as well. And this might be the beginning of the end. 5 heroes pressuring into this mid lane Keep now. An infinite Archon is active from Wingman and this Tassadar. Yeah, this is gonna be GG. It's way too long for Anduin, Vala, and Leeming to get back up. With Misha dead right now, it's even harder to defend for Rexar. Only 1 Keep's gonna be down. 2 armor plates on this boss. Will they be willing to do this, or did they just rotate back and pick up the prison? They're giving it up. I'm shocked. Anubrak gonna try to use those beetles again, this time working on the top lane Keep. Misha gonna try to charge at them, slow them down, but not going to be enough to hold them back. There goes the second Keep down. A big minion wave along with catapults approaching the core, and it's already at about 80% health. Someone's going to have to go back and deal with this, but they're looking at the fight here on the top side of the map. There goes Thrall. Can ETC interrupt it? Okay, he ends up interrupting himself as the minions are all here. 50%. Another big wave coming as well. They're locked on the core. Oh, they turn their focus. All the minions start hitting the other minions. You hate to see it. But sneaking around, finding now their 3rd boss of the game. Amateur opponents trying to keep themselves in this map. They've gotten that core down past the 30% mark twice, but haven't done it with their own heroes pushing in with it. This time, though, here they come. 5 heroes and a boss. Light Bomb a little off target again, and they lose their engage now. So what do? They just send in the bear, try to kill off the beetle. Pig Merlin now all by himself. Thrall, what are you doing on this side of the fight? Trying to escape, but the boars will chase. Leeming with the damage, and Cactus Ham picking up what could be the most critical kill of the game. Zeratul now back on the map. They have to deal with this boss, but how can they stop it now? Core down to 30% health and a 4-man death mosh. GG, game number 1. Going to the number 1 seed here in Division C West, Amateur Opponents. And let's take a look at this match summary brought to you by, well, I guess Nexus Gaming Series. What a game, Zeratul. That looks scary. Definitely is going to need to be considered to be banned out in game number 2 because the captain for Resurgence of the Storm looked like a menace on the map. A lot of really good Void Prisons helping set up a lot of those fights, and it ended up being 14 kills for Resurgence of the Storm, aka the side that lost this game. You don't see that often, that wide of a kill spread, yet not walking away with the victory, and honestly, not walking away with anything. They didn't get one objective, they had the one boss, ended up getting 2 keeps down, but I don't know, maybe you just can't win Alterac without getting objectives. It's too hard to get the early game siege to lead up to those late game moments, and when they found themselves with opportunity to win it late, they didn't have the second keep down and weren't willing to fight the core with 2 armor plates still up. So ultimately, well done. Amateur Opponents are able to walk away with that win. Rexar leading the team with 3 kills. But yeah, I gotta give the MVP over, I think, to Zeratul. Maybe the Tastar. Actually, is the Tastar? The Force Walls were so good. It's a toss-up, but I think the MVP side actually goes to Resurgence of the Storm in that game. We'll see if they can get their heads together and figure out how to win more of the macro advantages around the map, including some objectives. We're going to be talking with our captains now, figuring out where we're going for game number 2. So we're going to take a very short break. Hopefully you guys are enjoying yourselves. Thank you for all the follows that are coming in too. And we'll see you guys right back here in about 2 minutes. And welcome back in as I am once again rejoined by the Green Mist here, my fabulous co-caster, the most ever so silent co-caster I could ever ask for. Thanks for being here. We have a slight delay here. We don't have our lobby set up as of yet, but patience is a virtue, I promise you that. We're going to have it set up momentarily. Yeah, yesterday took a day off of casting, feeling a bit of rust. Thanks for hanging in there with me. I know it's been a little shaky so far. We missed the first blood. I called Anubarak Sylvanas. What else did I do? Probably mumbled and stuttered about 17 times. That's okay. You guys are a fantastic audience. And Ignasty mentioning how the Green Mist is the best co-caster. Yeah, you have to give it up for the Green Mist. It's the fog of war, baby. You don't want to step in there. You might not walk out. So we do have our lobby. Looks like we're heading into, as promised, I knew it was coming, Infernal Shrines. This is picked by amateur opponents. Just getting all of our players in and swapped onto the right side of the lobby. Infernal Shrines. Writing it in my book. And today, yeah, it was a hell of a day. You guys want to hear a story? Severe storms here this afternoon. They're just about to leave the area, okay? And I'm like, all right, we're through it. Like, I'm going to go do some streaming. I've been doing these afternoon streams over on my channel, twitch.tv/murdarg. I was getting ready to go over there about 2 p.m. Eastern. And then right as the storms are getting ready to leave, kaboom! Loudest thunder I've ever heard in my life. Instant thunder. I swear to God, it must have struck right above the house. Brief flash of everything electronic in the house, and I was like, okay, power's still on, we're good. Internet goes out. I'm like, okay, we'll reset the modem, whatever, we'll get it up and running again, no big deal, right? Well, it was a big deal. Turns out, long story short, after being on the phone with Comcast and the modem hardware people, whatever, Eris I think their name is, yeah, the modem was fried. Apparently the LAN port got destroyed. So I hop in my car, I head down to Target, I pick up a brand new modem, okay? While I was there, I actually saw another guy. He's like, did your modem get fried today too? And I was like, yep. So I wasn't the only one dealing with this. Get home with this modem, call up Comcast for them to add it to my account, and they tell me, I'm sorry, Murda, this modem is already on someone else's Comcast account. Turns out someone had returned the modem to Target, never took it off their account, and now I can't even use it. So I'm like, wait, you can't just take it off their account, put it on mine? They're like, no, we'd have to contact that account holder and get their permission and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and it was an hour waiting for Comcast to get to that point, right? I go back to Target, pick up yet another modem, and finally am able to get that one set up, and that's why I'm finally here with you guys. If you missed me over on my stream today, I'm so sorry. We'll be back tomorrow. But we have more action here tonight. That's what's important. I think we do have all of our players ready to go. I'm letting them know I'm ready to go as well. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for listening to my story. Hopefully you learned something. Put your modems on a surge protector, including your coaxial cable, because the plug itself wasn't my surge protector, but the surge must have come from the cable line. So if you have a fancy surge protector, utilize all the functionality. You'll save yourself the trouble one day. Here we go, draft number 2. As promised, it's Infernal Shrines. Ignasty, yeah, it was a lot of fun, Kappa. Not fun at all. Basically, worst thing you can do on a Wednesday. First to ban this time, Resurgence of the Storm. They picked the map. Excuse me. First to ban Resurgence of the Storm. They did not pick the map. I told you I was rusty. I can't even, like, keep left and right straight. Like, that's how bad it is. Need some sleep. I had a horrible headache last night. Had to cancel both of my casts. So apologies to those team if you're watching. I still owe Bancho and what was the other one? Bancho and Team Mana Frenzy. I owe them a replay cast. Welcome in chat, Repsychic, my dear friend, my favorite friend. He calls me Murdaddy. How can you not like that? Sylvanas banned out second time, And smart ban here from the amateur opponents. They do not want to deal with C2D2 Zeratul for the second time. They ban it away here in game number 2. Jason says, that reminds me of the time I had to go through 16 different Charter Spectrum agent calls to get my internet running in my new place last year. Yeah, it's always a hoop and a ladder, a circus, a cluster. Every time. Sylvanas GREYMANE, the same bans as game number 1 coming out from Resurgence of the Storm, and it will be the Johanna, who was also banned out in game number 1. Just the Zeratul, a new hero here, which leaves open what was banned out in game 1, the Phoenix for C2D2. Rek, I won't give away your secrets, don't worry. Do you have secrets? I don't think you have any secrets. There's RAYNOR. This is Jimmy. And the cow. Okay. So we saw ETC in game number 1. It was not the mosh pit. It was the stage dive, having to worry about the Anubarak and all those stuns. Duck Rogers was not willing to pull the trigger on the mosh pit. Will we end up seeing that Thrall again, a hero that can pair in so nicely with a Phoenix, the Earthquake, the Purification Salvo, able to get value together? Might not be the pick. Who played the Thrall in game 1? Was it Pig Merlin? Okay, so maybe still room to fit the Thrall in, but we end up seeing Gul'dan and Stukov going to get a lot of wave clear, a lot of team healing from the Admiral. As Diablo becomes our final ban for amateur opponents here in game number 2. We have just one left. It belongs to Resurgence. Game 1, they took away the Leoric. Do I see the Leoric ban here again? Maybe? There's also room and consideration available to take out the Anduin. It was played pretty well in game number 1 by Butte Holiday. So perhaps an Anduin ban. MEPHISTO. Strong hero. I think he's the best in the game right now, so I don't blame him, but I didn't see that coming. Two picks now. Amateur opponents on the clock. Do they grab that Anduin here? I think so. If they're not going Anduin, perhaps an Ana would be nice. They can sleep this Gul'dan, and yeah, it's hard to live when you're slept as Gul'dan. It'll end up being Anduin, though. Imperious, the selection, and yes, this is a Gul'dan killer. No mobility on the hero. They don't show any additional speed as of yet to help Gul'dan be a bit more elusive. So Imperious, a fine selection for the amateur opponents. We'll see how Saint Terminator can do this time in the solo lane. Perhaps get some good flanks and some good kills with the spears. Final two picks. Here comes one. It'll be a Nubrak for the second time. And is this the Thrall? Yes, it is. I thought it would be. So they're going to get that synergy as mentioned with the Phoenix. And a Nubrak, I thought, played really well game 1 as well. Able to get that early tower down. Able to lead a few of those fights. The Cocoons were great. Really was no way to destroy the Cocoons outside of those auto attacks from Li-Ming. Or from Vala. Oh man, we're rusty. Can't even say heroes' names. That's a pick, though. Sonic's Bro 33. Hopping on the Queen of Blades. And we got some excitement now. I got to head back to chat and see what you guys are thinking. I don't have a co-caster here to ask. So you guys are my co-caster. Okay? Who will win game 2? Resurgence of the Storm or amateur opponents? Poll is open. You guys know what to do. Head on over to chat up at the top. Hit the drop down arrow. Select the team you want to win and hit submit. I got the votes up. You guys should keep the votes up too. Because game 1, you guys were on the money. I think it was 63% of you selected amateur opponents to win. And that they did. Even though they lost on kills, we're still able to walk away with the map win. Can they repeat that recipe here in game number 2? Or will the kills be too much to handle this time? Will we end up going to a game number 3? That's the decision you guys are making right now in chat with this vote. I see at least one vote already being submitted in favor of Resurgence of the Storm. You guys saw something in them in game number 1, but will you see it from them here in game number 2? Welcome to Infernal Shrines. And it's time to introduce this team on the left-hand side first. We got Wingman playing the Gul'dan, Kenster on Stukov, Perseus once again on the Anubarak, C2D2 grabbing his Phoenix as Pig Merlin will once again be our Thrall player. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the blue side. It's Resurgence of the Storm. And in red tonight, we got Cactus Ham on the RAYNOR, Duck Rogers playing ETC for the second time, Sonic's Bro on Kerrigan, Saint Terminator on the Imperious, and the captain tonight playing the Anduin for the second game in a row. It's Butte Holiday. Make some noise for the amateur opponents. No tower diving this time early from Anubarak. Not wanting to show their strategy twice. Instead, gonna play it slow here at mid. As we take a peek at a few of these talents, it's gonna be Echoed Corruption for Gul'dan. I think that's the right pick. Thrall gonna go with the Rolling Thunder. You don't see this one all the time, but when you do, okay. It'll be Globes for Anubarak, Regen Master for the Beetle. As we take our first peek at our solo lane matchup, it'll be Imperious versus Thrall this time. How will the matchup change now not having the Rexar here? Does it make a difference for Saint Terminator? Engage down the bottom lane, but Anubarak Burrow Charge back to safety. ETC in a bit of trouble, but we'll be able to back on out. Phoenix with that shielding, able to play aggressive early in fights, but toward the later half of the fights, of course, needs to be careful. He gets very vulnerable once that shield is down. But I'm expecting C2D2 to play well. This was a target ban in game number 1 from amateur opponents that snuck through the second draft. Will it make a difference for their comp or not? Your votes should tell the difference, but no. You guys are a split decision. 5 for each of our teams, 50% for each of our teams. That means I have to be the deciding vote. Oh boy. Well, it is Kerrigan on Infernal Shrines. Definitely one of her best maps, able to hop in and out around those skeletal defenders when they're active, building up an enormous shield. That could be destructive. It all depends on how the combos go for Sonic's Bro. If they're able to lock in a Phoenix, especially when he's trying to warp away, those are the kind of kills you're going to be trying to get. Top lane this matchup, still about even. Saint Terminator maybe slightly ahead. A bit more health, a bit more mana, and a bit further along with the wave push as it's approaching the Resurgence of the Storm side of the map. But plenty of regen able to be provided with the Rolling Thunder from Thrall. Should be able to keep him sturdy, and with a few globes here as well. Gonna get all that mana back. Mid lane, Stukov able to throw down that infestation, trying to clear out these minions and those mercs that were coming in. They are able to get it down and now heading up to their bruiser camp on the opposite side of the map. Amateur opponents already working on theirs. This is not an Exterminator on RAYNOR. Instead, it's Ace in the Hole selected at level 1. I maybe would go for Exterminator here on this map. Wave clear is king. Killing those skeletal defenders as quickly as possible, always important, but maybe leaving that up to the Kerrigan, not the worst idea, but I still feel like I'd rather see the Exterminator here. You get a bit more, of course, clearing out the mercs, grabbing those camps for your team, clearing out waves, and as mentioned, clearing out these skeletal defenders as we have our first objective underway. 10 already picked up for amateur opponents. Here comes the engage. The spear let it off onto the Phoenix, and they do pick up the first blood. Great combo of abilities, not overlapping anything at all, just perfectly timed all the way through. And our number 1 seed, amateur opponents, off to yet another objective. Just as they did in game number 1, picking up all 4 of those. They're going to start it off with the first one here on Infernal Shrines as well. Thrall still in the top lane. Did he ever come down? I don't know if he did. Was he there? Maybe he was there. Maybe I'm assuming the worst. I'm expecting the best, though, Pig Merlin. Level 10 is going to be a different story once Earthquake and Purification Salvo are online, so you just got to wait until 10 if you're Resurgence. And if you're amateur opponents, you got to know that. You got to get your damage in on these structures early. Open up this map for yourselves. Take down some of these wells. Try to give your team an edge heading into level 10, because I think once those talents get here, the matchup might swing around into the favor of Resurgence of the Storm. But there's a little bit of time to go before we get to that point in the game. A couple siege camps are going to be spawning soon as our objectives, it's all killed. And structures are still standing. We're in the bottom lane right now alongside amateur opponents. Looks like RAYNOR is going to walk into the siege camp here on the bottom side of the map. Now going to get some help from Kerrigan and Anduin. Should be able to clear this out with ease, but here comes a Nubrak. Will they dare to interrupt this? Not going to make it in time. ETC with a face melt knocking Perseus back. And the Khazra camp is going to be secured by the amateur opponents. Not yet able to get theirs. Ooh, just coming online. Here's the siege camp available for amateur opponents on their side. As Anduin and RAYNOR will walk on over to it. Mid lane still pushing in, and the red side minions, they're getting destroyed. This is going to be on the fort wall in just a moment, but here comes Saint Terminator trying to save the day, save this mid wall. And now going to get a little bit of help from Kerrigan and RAYNOR as well. Mid wall will be just fine. Game 1. We saw the stage dive. A Nubrak on the other side for the second time in a row. Will we see the stage dive again? We might. Good pull that time once again from Butte Holiday on the money all throughout this evening on her favorite support in the game, if I'm not mistaken. Butte, if you're watching the VOD later on and I'm wrong, let me know, but pretty sure Anduin's your favorite one to play. He's a cute boy, okay? You like cute boys, right? Burrow charge will lock in Duck Rogers, but Power Slide gonna get him back to safety. Now Gul'dan, a 4-man stun with the blades from Sonics Bro. Gonna send out the Ultralisk. Can they finish off Gul'dan? Not quite. We don't see the stage dive this time, and maybe in that spot the stage dive could have picked up a kill onto Gul'dan. It will be the mosh pit here in game number 2. Duck Rogers willing to flip the script. Top lane shrine up next will be an arcane shrine for whichever team's able to grab it. No camps available, but it looks like RAYNOR's heading into the Bruiser camp on their side. It's spawning just now, perfectly timed out by Cactus Ham. Here comes Butte Holiday and Sonics Bro. And still nothing coming out in terms of mercs for Resurgence of the Storm. Will they go for it before the objective, or do they head immediately towards the top lane? Looks like that's what they're going to do. They don't want to lose their 6th straight objective, if you count the 4 in game 1 and that first one here in game 2. They're getting started early. Nubrak holding the push, but look at that stun, the lead up with the light bomb, and a Nubrak cannot get away. Even with a little help from Stukov there, the silence not enough to slow down the onslaught from amateur opponents. They now regain, or I guess take over control of this top shrine, and with Kerrigan in here, it's easy money, baby. All you gotta do is Ravage, auto attack, reset on the Ravage, auto attack, reset on the Ravage, auto attack. Like, it's easy. And look at the shield too. And we have a pause and a disconnect from our Stukov player. So we're gonna take a quick flip on back to the caster bench. You guys can say hello to me here once again. I'll try to catch up a little bit of what you're saying in chat. He's back. He's back. I'll ask if they're ready. Looks like maybe I'll be able to resume this quickly. Okay, we are ready. All right, 3, 2, 1, and we're in.
Red team has summoned an arcane punisher.
Here comes the arcane punisher for amateur opponents with the help of that Kerrigan clearing out those skeletal defenders. They're quickly earning their 6th straight objective of the night. 2nd here in Infernal Shrines. As the Punisher is going to be leaping over the wall, trying to get a bit of damage out onto some heroes, but unfortunately for amateur opponents, not onto the fort at all. Another leap there, going to land onto a Nubrak. Burrow charge will get him back to safety. But now turning their focus onto the fort, amateur opponents trying to walk away with something, but here comes a Purification Salvo a bit early, not paired in with the Earthquake that time, as the Leap of Faith yet again from Butte Holiday, saving the day. Kerrigan able to sidestep and now turn it around on the Thrall, picking up the kill. Horrify coming out from Gul'dan. but not enough to lock anyone in for a kill. Amateur opponents pick up their third of the game. And peeking over at our kill count, it's 1 apiece for Kerrigan, RAYNOR, and ETC. Off to a much better start here in game number 2 than they did in game number 1. They're up 1 full level right now, as Imperius is the one defending at mid. A few heroes from Resurgence trying to push on in, but not going to make it past the big spear boy. Few camps available around this bottom side of the map. The full triangle is available. And the aggressive take now coming out from amateur opponents, knowing the Thrall was off the map for a bit. Gonna start up the Resurgence of the Stormside Siege Camp, and they will be able to grab it. ETC under some pressure, but getting enough armor there. Able to walk on out. Camp stolen. And now heading on into the bottom camp. Here goes RAYNOR once again. Gonna get help from Imperius and Anduin this time. They're all wide open in the top lane, though. Does he know this? Pig Merlin, opportunity to siege in onto this fort wall. And I think he does know it. Gonna get some value here. Imperius still very far away, making this long rotation up. Let's peek on the bottom lane, though. As a bit of damage coming out onto these towers. Can the Khazras get it down? No, they turned their focus at the last second. Oh, wait. That was weird. They had turned their focus, but then regained their focus. Well done, Khazra minions. 1 tower still remains on the side of amateur opponents here in the top lane. Imperius was able to make it up to defend against Thrall. And this matchup will stall out for now. Let's take a peek back at mid lane. Oh, rotation coming. A big rotation coming. Saint Terminator sniffing it out, though. Back to safety. As the rest of amateur opponents now going to rotate on Thrall. There's a spear. Bit of overlap that time with the power slide, but Pig Merlin stuck in a horrible place. And he'll end up falling. That's the second death of the game for Thrall. Looking at the kill count again. Kerrigan picking up that one, now adding into her first. 2 kills in the game for Sonic's Bro, and it'll be a free fort here in the top lane. RAYNOR able to walk right on in along with these minions. First one of the game is down. Bottom lane, though, look at this. C2D2 calling in the troops. They want some value of their own, and they are going to find it. 2 towers here in the bottom lane. Might they get more? No, they're going to back on out. But maybe if they knew their opponent's working on a bruiser camp right now, would have been willing to stay in there a bit longer. And that's going to be the responsibility of Thrall to clear out, or maybe they leave it, but if they leave it, that's going to be pushing onto a keep wall, so they have to be careful and consider what kind of damage that thing can do. Thrall still showing in the top lane. They know this is a 5v4, and here comes amateur opponents looking for anything. But Saint Terminator not long enough with the spear that time. They all get away. But I don't think they mind. I mean, they got Kerrigan in here continuing to absolutely destroy these skeletal defenders. Quickly sending them up to, is it 20? Yep, there's 20. And no defense. They're just giving up the defense every time. Rotating out. At some point, you can't give up every single objective, Resurgence. I'm expecting a big fight eventually tonight. We didn't see it in game 1. And we're yet to see it here in game 2. Son, I am disappointed. Third straight Punisher. And this is the 7th straight objective for amateur opponents. This one's going to get through the bottom lane fort without any sort of defense. Now get ready to march into the bottom lane keep. 5 heroes here from amateur opponents. ETC going to check a bush, making sure no one's coming on the flank side. But it's a frozen Punisher, one of the most destructive because it can shut down these structures. But not using any of those circles yet. Finally coming out. I think one of them will hit onto the keep. No, it didn't. I mean, this is the worst frozen Punisher I've ever seen. It gets 0 value with the trait. Finally, we'll get a little bit of value as the Purification Salvo coming out in response to this big engage. Kerrigan trying to take out C2D2, but the warp at the last second gonna get Phoenix away. Duck Rogers only hitting the Anubrak with the mosh pit as finally Phoenix is able to fall with the help of those angelic armaments from Imperius. 1 hero down, 1 keep down. But check out top lane. That thing is still going. Bruiser Camp starting to pressure in onto this amateur opponent's keep wall. Who will be sent back might be the Imperius. And there goes Saint Terminator. Going to play defense in the top lane as the rest of the team working on the second time taking away the enemy's siege camp here in the mid lane. And there's a couple more still available. Do they want to rotate and grab those as well? Maybe some well taps. There goes Butte Holiday on the Anduin. Grabbing a drink from the fountain. Maybe I should grab a drink too. I'm kind of thirsty. Checking out Imperius clearing out this top lane. Not able to save the wall. Lost one of the turrets as well. Maybe an engage here. Oh, Nubrak was getting close, but just in the nick of time, the amateur opponent's able to grab away their siege camp. Bottom lane siege camp still available. It's only been taken tonight by AO. But I think this time Resurgence, they want it. They're going to get it. Count them, 5 heroes here working on the siege camp. Leaving the other lanes unoccupied and creating room now for this Khazra camp from amateur opponents to get some value onto the fort. Quickly sending it down to 50% health. They're going to be able to disengage out of there and maybe, just maybe, no. Gul'dan too strong. Of course too strong. But plenty of value. Should mean if they get that next Punisher, I mean, that fort's just going to instantly fall by it. Now pressuring in this bottom lane. They find a power slide onto Phoenix. There's a spear as well. And they pick up the kill. The swipes from Stukov just a little bit out of reach to save the day that time. 45-second death timer for the captain from Resurgence of the Storm. What can they do with this advantage? Amateur opponents getting close to level 20, but should be able to find this mid lane fort if they're willing to pressure in. RAYNOR does not have a Hyperion, instead playing with the RAYNOR's Raider here in game number 2. So how do they get their damage out? I guess just auto attacks? Okay. Yep, auto attacks. And a shrine active in 20 seconds. Bruiser camp available on the red side of the map. There goes Sonic's Bro. Wave in the top lane. Catapult is approaching from the Resurgence side of the map. But there's catapults on both sides in this lane, so will be counteracted by amateur opponents' minions that are approaching. Shrine active. Currently in the pit is Stukov. Not starting it up, however. Level 20 secured by AO. They're going to be wanting to take this fight. Just waiting to see a few selections. Yeah, there it is. Heavenly Host from Imperius. Going to give him a bit more shielding. As he spears over the wall on the 3. Gets pulled right back out by Anduin. Big engage now. Oh my god! Saint Terminator just terminated 2 with those armaments. Now spearing onto the Stukov. Kenster's in trouble as well. And will fall a triple kill for the amateur opponents. Perhaps just winning the game right there. I mean, they can march bottom lane and close it out, but they're going to grab this Punisher anyway. Perhaps just going to leave the Kerrigan to finish it off. Going to grab a siege camp to help them out with this push. Oh boy, this keep at mid lane is going to be falling. But perhaps they could have closed out the game there without the Punisher. I mean, you're talking 40 plus seconds on 3 heroes. It would have been a 5v2 core push.
Red team has summoned an army.
I would have liked my odds in that instance. Can also find a bruiser camp for the top lane as the Punisher is approaching mid. ETC holding the vent, making sure no one's able to walk through and disrupt that bruiser camp take. They finally do grab it, and now we'll rejoin the Punisher at mid. Leaping over onto the Thrall. There's a spear from Imperius. Thrall in trouble. Oh my god. Is Saint Terminator a beast? Look at them go, picking up 2 more kills. Punisher still wrecking face as Phoenix falls. It's another triple kill for the amateur opponents. Can they make it 4 onto Gul'dan? No. The Horrify too good that time. But the Punisher getting through the keep. Now working on the core. The shielding is being destroyed with a lot of help from catapults, Khazras, minions, 5 heroes. 60% now on the core, make it 50, 40, ticking down fast, 20, 10, touchdown. Game over, and the domination awarded to the amateur opponents. Absolutely Imperius MVP. That late game sequence on the money. Let's take a look at this match summary brought to you once again by our good friends at the Nexus Gaming Series. Stats don't always show it, but this time it does. Imperius 3 kills, 0 deaths, and led the team 27k hero damage from the solo lane. Outstanding work from Saint Terminator. Those armaments were like bonkers insane at the end of that game. Well done all around by the amateur opponents. Let's take a quick peek over at our talent screen. I think I may have forgotten to show you this during game number 1. Apologies. I told you I was rusty. I forget things sometimes. But while you're looking at this, I'm going to poke on over to Discord, try to get in touch with Butte Holiday, the captain of the amateur opponents, for an interview. I'm in the lobby. Now I just got to message her. Butte Holiday. Interview. Lobby 1. Okay. And hopefully we're joined soon. While we are in this slight break, I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for shopping at Nexus Gaming Series and being a fantastic viewer this evening. We had 51 at the close of game number 2 there. And each of you deserve your own thanks for being supportive of this league and supporting Game of the Week. Something we try to do, try to put on a fun event for you all. We try to find good matchups. And tonight we definitely had a good one. I think Resurgence had a great opportunity to win this, especially that game number 1. A lot of kills, but they didn't find any in game number 2. That's pretty cool. Looks like Shane will be doing the interview. I don't know who Shane is. Must be their IRL name. Oh, there we go. Der Shane Train. Welcome to the Game of the Week broadcast, and congratulations, 2-0 domination tonight for amateur opponents. How's the teams feeling?
You know what? The team's feeling really good. We were extremely nervous coming into this game. I mean, batch of the week, you know, all the pressure's on us, but, you know, I'm really happy it's over, and I'm happy we came away with a win.
It didn't look so easy. Game number 1, you guys maybe struggling a bit, ended up losing out on the kill counts. I think it was 14-6 at the end of it. How did the team respond to dealing with that sort of adversity and still manage to win every single objective tonight?
Well, I mean, game number 1, I mean, well, first off, both games were honestly really well played by Resurgence of the Storm. They played a fantastic series. Game number 1, they really caught us off guard. We knew they had the Zero tool in their roster, but we really weren't expecting it to come out that early in the draft. It sort of caught us off guard. We played we sort of tried to build a comp to play against it, but I mean, got to give the man credit. He was crazy good on that Zero tool, but I mean, somehow, some way, we stayed in the game. We didn't tilt, and we managed to come away with a victory.
So help me out here. Your Discord name doesn't match your Battle.net tag. Which player are you?
ST Terminator.
Okay, so yeah, we absolutely need to talk to you, but we're going to get to game 2 next, because you definitely were MVP of game 2. Let's continue talking game number 1, though. Alterac Pass. You guys managed to get all the prisons, and you also were very sneaky tonight on the bosses. You want to walk me through a bit of through some of those shot calls that came out? I mean, it seemed like you guys saw where the opponents were and just made a quick decision.
Yeah, so our thought was, I mean, I believe at the moment of the boss, they were up a talent tier on us. And so we made the call that they were sort of posturing, I think, in mid. And the call was, well, they're probably going to go and try to take the objective. And we're honestly planning to give objective and in response, take the boss down bottom and try and counter push with that. But they ended up not going for the objective, so we ended up somehow getting the boss for free. We did a really good job of keeping some people in the lanes just to sort of distract them and make them think that we weren't on it. And then we snuck the boss, and we were able to then use the boss as pressure to help us get the objective phase.
Yeah, so, I mean, you just alluded to it there. They were a little hesitant moving on to the objectives. Caught me off guard. I'm sure it caught you guys off guard, too. A few times where I was like, man, they can walk in, they can at least start the channel, get some time going, make it a bit easier if they're able to win a fight from there. But they never did move in. Were you guys scratching your heads too, and kind of what was the comms like when you found out a few times that, hey, the objective's wide open?
I mean, you would think it's a head scratcher at first, but you start to realize after a few of their team fights, I think the way that they were really trying to play the fights was they were waiting for us to start it and then waiting to sort of, almost like hem us in and get us all into a small area so that the Zeratul can go in and start, hit a big void prism and start picking people. And they did a fantastic job of it, to be completely honest with them. I mean, there were plenty of fights around those objectives where either they won outright or it was like, a very even trade. So, they were playing their team comp extremely well. But I mean, somehow we would just, they were very scrappy fights and we would do whatever we could to stay in them. And I don't know, it would just sort of work out for us.
Game number 2, you guys bring us into everyone in NGS's favorite map. I swear I cast it every single night, Infernal Shrines. And this is where we finally get to see some fun heroes. Kerrigan selected for Sonics Pro 33 with the last pick. Was this something you guys were thinking about the entire time, or did you just find a spot where it made sense? Definitely great on the map and definitely looked good there in game number 2.
Yeah, we've sort of been hiding the Kerrigan this season. It actually came up, we were scrimming some other teams, and another team pulled that out against us, and it looked really good. And, I mean, we had someone who has the capability to play Kerrigan. I mean, Sonics Pro, he can play pretty much anything. He's an amazing player top to bottom. And, he sort of was like, I'd love to try this out. So we tried it out a little bit and, saw it kind of fit what our composition likes to do, what synergize with our players. So we've kind of been sitting on it throughout the season, waiting for the right moment. And with this being such a key game this season, we just were like, you know what, this is the time. Let's go for it.
So you got to tell me how it feels having your captain and leader, Butte Holiday, playing that support position Anduin in games 1 and 2. From my perspective, Leap of Faith has never looked so good. A lot of key saves in a lot of those fights. You want to talk about your captain a bit and how confident the team feels overall when she gets to play the Anduin?
Well, first of all, I want to shout out Butte Holiday, our healer and captain. She does a fantastic job on this team, keeping us all in good spirits, definitely moving the team in the right direction, keeping us practicing and all of that happy stuff. But man, on healer, she does an absolutely fantastic job. Last season, she was actually the top healer in our division, played an absolutely fantastic split last season. And then, I mean, this season, she's picked up right back where she's left off. I mean, she's a really deep hero pool. And I mean, there's been plenty of times this season where people have called out that they're dead and then somehow reaches into her bag of tricks. I don't know where it comes from, and all of a sudden they're walking out just fine. So, I mean, I got to give absolute shout outs to her. She's doing an amazing job this season.
So more shout outs are coming, don't worry, because maybe the only thing better than Anduin in game number 2 was your Imperious, especially in those clutch moments at the end of the game, picking up that big double kill with your armaments, securing that final Punisher, and then another one at their keep wall. You find another couple kills. It seemed to all come together right at the end of the game for you. You want to walk me through that last sequence?
So that last fight, I remember we're on the objective phase and we're up a talent tier, but I mean, we're sort of saying to ourselves, they've got to be around here. So we know that they're down the 20, but I don't feel like they're going to let us have this one for free. They've got to be around here somewhere. And so I sort of guessed which bush they might be in, and there. And what, for better or for worse, I decided to queue over the wall into their whole team. Butte sort of yanked my leash and pulled me back. But then I don't know what happened. Suddenly there were just 2 low health bars, and I pressed R and
bye-bye.
I don't actually remember what happened in the team fight because I'm pretty sure our entire team screamed in voice comms whenever that happened. So
I think I screamed too. You may have heard me.
Oh, but I mean, honestly, though, I mean, both games, I know the second game didn't look as close as the first, but honestly, they played a fantastic set in both games. Absolute shout outs to Resurgence of the Storm. Yeah. They really made us work for both games. We had to be on top of our rotations, on top of our game, on top of our team fights. I mean, they're definitely a very respectable opponent in this division, and I definitely think they're going to go very far.
Yeah, I mean, there was mention in chat, some thinking this could be the Division C West Finals later on when we go through our playoffs. Obviously, your team looking like a lock, maybe even for the number 1 seed, but at least making it in somewhere in the top 8. I think you guys are already like guaranteed a playoff position. You've played now 7 matches of your, how many are in this division? 13. So you got 12 matches. You're more than halfway done. And you guys have only dropped 3 maps so far. You're going to add in 3 more points tonight, your 5th domination of the season. I mean, your team's on fire. What stops you guys from here?
I mean, we're spent every single day. We're thinking about every little thing. I mean, myself and Butte Holiday, we're the main shot callers. We have our sixth man, Ed, who does a great job scouting as well. I can't think of it. I'm sorry. We take every single game extremely seriously, no matter who the opponent is.
Yep.
The way that you give up maps is you underestimate your opponents, and no matter how tough a game looks, we're definitely going to go into it and give it our all. So we do a great job. And I mean, you said we've played 7 games, but you know what? We have another game tomorrow too,
Oh,
so we have no time.
gosh.
We have no time to sit back and rest on this victory. So
Well, I mean, getting those flex matches out of the way early makes your end of season a bit more focused. You can just work on the one opponent at a time and week by week just methodically go through it. I think you guys are doing it the right way, and everyone in this division is scared to play you right now, I'm sure.
it's a double-edged sword. They're scared to. You would say that they're scared to play us, but at the same time, if they're scared, that means that they're going to be giving us their all and scouting us extremely heavily. So we have to be on our A game every.
Well, hey, Shane, I got to thank you for joining me for this interview. A fantastic interview, by the way. Appreciate your candor and your enthusiasm for the team and NGS in general. But before I let you go, of course, time for some shout-outs. The floor is yours, my friend.
Well, first off, shout outs to the entire team. Butte Holiday, the greatest captain I've ever had. Sonic's bro, from Bloodfin Murgles to this team, he always keeps us in check and is doing an amazing job as always. Cactus Ham, our new DPS pickup, has, filled the shoes just perfectly and has sort of come into his own and is doing a fantastic job. Duck Rogers, I mean, he's quiet, but man, does he have some amazing plays. He does a fantastic job on the tank role. And of course, to Ed, who, I mean, he's our sixth man. He's always there for us, doing an amazing job. But he was actually watching today. I actually want to shout out him and his land center. That was where I actually started playing HOTS, believe it or not. So
Wow.
they were all in the land center today watching. So shout outs to everyone there.
Well,
And,
hey, if they're still there, hi, guys.
and of course, shout outs to you, Murda, and shout outs to everyone in NGS who does such an amazing job keeping this organization alive and giving all the players who care so much about this game a place.
Well, Shane, congrats again. Well done tonight, and best of luck moving through the remainder of Season 9.
Thank you so much, Murda. You enjoyed the rest of your night.
Will do. Talk to you soon. All right, Twitch chat. Yeah, that was a match. Maybe a quick one. I was expecting a game 3 tonight. We didn't end up getting it. Okay, you ended up getting the domination instead. Big, huge congrats going out to the amateur opponents winning our Week 4 Game of the Week tonight over Resurgence of the Storm. Perhaps a preview of more to come in the playoffs from both of these teams. Maybe we see them again. And if you do see them again, someone's going to be watching this VOD and reviewing that matchup before it happens. So if you're watching in the future, be sure to hit that like button over on YouTube. And if you're not already following the NGS YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss the action that takes place here all the time. Posting up replays of course, the game of the week. We got all of the Nexus Edge broadcasts on there, including a bunch of other content, maybe some cool stuff I don't even know about yet. Fantastic YouTube channel to follow, so make sure you're following there. If you're not following here live on Twitch, what are you waiting for? I'm sure you're already following, but if you're not, yeah, hit that follow button. If you want to show some love, maybe use a Twitch Prime subscription here, or whatever. You guys are cool. You've been doing amazing things all season long while I've been able to host this Game of the Week for you guys. It's an honor to be chosen to cast these. Unfortunately, we weren't joined by Slexi tonight. We just got the green mist, but I think you guys like him. He's kind of cool, right? Shout out to Shane for joining us on that interview. Thank you for being so enthusiastic. Really, that was the word I had for him. I love the enthusiasm there. Good guy. Haven't had the opportunity to talk to him before, so it was a pleasure. Just as it was a pleasure to be hosting you guys for this matchup. If you want to follow me, I'm over on Twitch at MurdaRG, Twitter at MurdaRG, and of course you can find me over on Discord where I will talk Heroes of the Storm or whatever, whenever. Just say hi. I love you guys. You are fantastic. I'll be back next week with Game of the Week. Hopefully joined by Slexia next time, as it's maybe a little bit more fun when she's here. She's exciting. I like her. Hopefully you guys had a good time, and until next time, I will see you in the Nexus. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Diablo Apox. Leap of Faith again by Anduin Vildanslo, and Medivh's gonna be able to finish him off. 3 kills, a triple for PFM. And now Diablo being surrounded. Fade falling to 25% health, Condemn, and Diablo's down. That might be the actual play of the game. They find another kill.
Apocalypse coming out though. Red team. Oh my god! Red team almost got him.
Axon jumping over to get some kills.
Oh, Ragnarok getting the concussion mine, knocking him out into the fray. Oh, the definition of unlucky.